Smart automation, better business. Learn how to optimize your business with Solved.
Sounds good. All right, so I'm going to walk you through a use case that we've done recently. So Solved just as a quick primer for Maria, Austin, you have worked with us before. We are a Salesforce and AI consultancy. So we work with companies to help them implement Salesforce. That's where we started. But as AI has gotten more and more powerful, we are including it under the umbrella of things that Solved supports. So right now, in terms of AI, what we do is just meet with companies and then help them go through this process of automating their business using AI. So what we're doing is actively trying not to just ride the hype train and make a bunch of promises that we know that we may or may not be able to keep, but we're starting to transition to be AI first at Solved. So then we get the experience and know how to help clients through the problems that they're going to hit as they implement AI, because we've done it ourselves. So we're implementing a lot of automation in-house and trying to automate as much as we can. And that's going pretty well. So we've got like dedicated build days to just try and say, hey, in one day, can we get something that was manual automated by the end of the day? And it's been a lot of fun, a lot of hard lessons, but a lot of cool automations that are now running for us. So I'm going to pull up a different diagram here. And
I looked up your website.
Yeah, please. What's up?
I looked up the Solved website. So with the internships, is that like looking for a job? There's a place on the website, I think. If I had it right.
Yeah. So we do have an internship program, and there's an application I can send if you're interested. Is that, I guess, does that answer your question? We do hire interns.
Yeah, no, that's what I looked at the website. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, totally. And we can talk a little bit more about that offline if you want. I can send you some information. Cool. Great. So really quick walkthrough here. We have a meeting summary automation and workflow. So Austin, you may remember our Fireflies AI note taker. All right. So we have an AI note taker tool that joins our meetings. I don't have it on this meeting because I'm doing my own recording, but that takes notes for us, and it's pretty good, and it generates a transcript, and you can go back and watch a video. But you have to pay for a bunch of their credits to be able to say how you want the summary generated. So specific things that you want. So our problem was we want very simple summaries that we can send to a client after a meeting that just say, here's what we talked about. Here are the action items on your side. Here's the action items we've committed to. And then here are our next steps. So this is things that can be automated by AI generally fall into two columns. One of them is things that are done today that we could have AI do and save time. And what we're finding is more of them fall into the second category, which is things that are not done, but probably should be done, but there's just not enough time. So one of the things that we've recommended and the consultants that do this have had great results with it is every meeting, send a follow-up and say, this is what we talked about. Here's what was committed to. Here's what to expect before next time. It's a little thing, makes a big difference. Clients love to get those emails, but it takes some time. And so often when you're trying to meet deadlines and you're trying to get things in progress and built, it just ends up being the thing at the bottom of your to-do list that just doesn't end up getting done that day. So we thought, let's put something in place to make it very easy. So all you have to do is basically copy and paste when the meeting's over and move on. So that was the problem we're trying to solve. So we didn't want to pay a bunch of credits through Fireflies. So we built our own, and we're hosting our own post-call orchestrator. So we get a transcript. When a transcript is generated, this whole process kicks off automatically. It goes through our custom prompt to say, take this transcript, spit out this in this format, and then send a Slack message to that client's Slack channel, an internal Slack channel related to the client. And then from there, this is what's done so far. The next thing on the roadmap is saying, Also, while you're looking at the transcript, are there any risks that came up that a mitigation plan wasn't put forward? Or was there poor sentiment? Did this client cuss out one of our consultants? Did our consultant cuss out the client? If it's that one, we're going to have a problem. But generally, just knowing, was this a tense call? Do we have a situation here that may help if a manager got involved? And then if the answer is yes, we'll send a separate DM directly to the manager to say, here's the risk that was identified. Here's kind of recommended next steps. There's a bunch of things we could build on top of this. So what's working now is we get those client summaries or the call summaries. Immensely useful for me as I'm managing a team of consultants as well, to go in and just see projects that I'm concerned about or I have questions about. I can pop into the meeting and just say, boom, right in Slack, this is what happened. But there's tons of potential implications of things we could build next, like taking all the calls for a month and aggregating them into a single summary to say, what happened with the client this month? Where are we at? Pulling in data from our CRM or from our project management tool to say, is what's being said in the calls, does that match up with where the project's really at? Are tasks getting created? One thing is we do write up tasks so that we can delegate to others so that our consultants can move fast. Could we build on top of this? Let's take the process or the task that was discussed, and then can we get 80% of the way there on the task is written, right? And it's in our project management platform. And now we just assign it to somebody, make a few tweaks, and then we've saved maybe half the time that we would need to spend on something that gets done 30 times a day, right? The ROI on that builds up pretty fast. So we're just getting started here. Really excited about the possibilities. So some of these webinars, I'll have like a demo or a tool to like kind of go through. I just wanted to talk about this as a use case today, but any questions on what we've built?
No.
When you have on there your solved post calls orchestrator,
Yeah.
and that's an AI tool that you guys have built for yourselves, or?
Yeah. So it is some code that we've hosted that uses AI models like you're used to interacting with to get this result. Mm-hmm. So for our call results, I did some science and I plugged a transcript into several different models just to get to say like what's going to give us the best summary for the like cheapest in terms of like use. Some models are really expensive to use and sometimes that's worth paying for. But yeah, trying to optimize. Long story short, yes, this is a tool we built.
That's good.
We took the hard road, probably the road less traveled, to try and understand the technology and try to understand how these things are built. So we did everything from scratch, and that's been cool. And we've learned a lot of things. There are some platforms that make this a lot easier. So you don't have to write a ton of code and know how to host it. There are some platforms. So N8N is one of them that I'm seeing get used a lot.
What is it?
It's called N8N. So letter N, number 8, letter N. That's you can build a workflow or a flow chart that looks similar to this and then have it execute some call out to AI when it needs to, or just do simple like code execution. So go ahead.
Is it kind of like Zapier?
Yeah, very similar to Zapier with more, it's way more robust. And then it's got similar like linking services together, right? So we could just, in that case, we built our own Fireflies connector and Slack connector. We could have just used theirs though. They have it built in and that would have been easy. We drag and drop something onto a canvas and we say, send Slack message. Much easier than what we did. But, for the sake of education and also having control over a custom built solution, we went that way.
Cool.
So that's a cool one. Make.com is another one that people are making use of. A lot more similar to Zapier on that one. Zapier has not implemented as many AI. I think that there was a time when they were pretty well positioned to like move into this space, but it seems like they're not moving into it. So interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Zapier has a solution that comes out at some point. And then as a plug, Salesforce Agentforce is another platform that this could all run within Salesforce. So there's some grains of salt in there in terms of what Salesforce can do, what Agentforce can do right now. It's an impressive roadmap. Right now, the things that Agentforce does really well is if you want it to be like a customer service agent or an SDR or a sales development rep to like do marketing and cold outreach on emails. It's pretty dang good at that. So there's some caveats and some like considerations to keep in mind. But I think Agentforce is showing us the first little glimpse into what digital employees are going to look like, where suddenly you're adding users and licenses that are going to be used by a robot to do things humans used to do. So for customer service and like SDRs, I'm like, it's not perfect. You're going to want to make sure you retain some human experts, but it's not bad. So anyways, cool stuff coming. Other questions on the meeting transcription or anything else here?
So again, just on a very high level, you guys are taking the transcript, copying that into your custom tool. It spits out a result and then automatically posts that to your Slack channels? Or...
Yeah, so that's all in the code that we've written. Part of that code is some Slack tools that allow sending messages and receiving messages, all that. So it's getting, we've got a little Slack persona for our AI agent that's doing more and more stuff. People are getting more and more messages from our agent requesting certain things or, receiving these summaries, that kind of thing.
Cool.
I will say there's another webinar that I did that's on our YouTube channel. I can send a link if you want, that kind of breaks down the difference between workflows and agents to get these things done. What we have for this process is very much a workflow, meaning we wrote the code to say explicitly, do this, then do this, then do this, and reach out to an AI at this step. There's another way to do it, which is using agents to say, you are a meeting transcriber agent, and this all happens in the code. You say you're a meeting transcriber agent, you're going to get a transcript, and then your job is to produce this kind of an output. Here are the tools you have access to. You can send Slack messages, you can query Salesforce, you can do these things, and then you let the AI decide which things to do and in what order to get the desired output. We have some of our automations that are working that way. Our simpler ones work that way. And it's pretty wild to turn that on and see the output come through, because you're like, I didn't write any code to do this. It's just, it knows what to do. Very, very strange and exciting. We tried that with this, and so after we wrote the workflow and we turned it on, we tried refactoring it as an agent, and it was just too complex. There's too many steps. So we got an okay output, maybe half the time for like triple the cost because every step of the way it's generating AI tokens, and just your API costs can really go through the roof. So we opted to stick with the workflow there. But anyway, I'm going way deeper than I need to on a question you didn't ask, but that's some information. Yes, all of that happens in the code.
Thank you so much for watching. We can't wait to help you automate your business. Please like, comment, or subscribe for more.